welcome everyone for tonight's race on EGL. We are here for SLR Tier 1 once again. Is the fourth round of the fifth season, and we are here at one of Tilke's better tracks in my opinion, the Shanghai International Circuit in China. And we've got a full grid of 20 drivers, and we've got a full commentary box of 2 commentators, and the other one alongside me is of course Terra. Hello.
Hello everyone. Yep, should be a good one today. I think we are, and yeah, I agree on the track. I quite like Shanghai. I think the interesting thing today is going to be tire strategies, because there's a bunch of different tire strategies. We spoke to Cody, aka Some Idiot, last week about the tire strategy. Some Idiot's not racing today either. I didn't realize that until just now, but he's not. But in any case, lots of different tire strategies. We could see soft to hard, we could see soft to medium, we could see some Brave Souls 2-stopping, could see medium to hard. Any of those are on the table. We saw mostly in Tier 2 a mix between soft and hard, and medium and hard. So yeah, it should be a fun one today.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is going to be interesting split between those strategies. In Tier 2 I had the impression that a lot of people bottled their qualifying. A lot of the fast
Oh,
guys.
Hugos has spun. What happened there? He spins. Where is that? On the exit of turn 3. On no, not is that turn 3, turn 4, whatever it is. Yeah, on traction, and he's on the inside and sliding across the grass. So that's the end of Hugos' first run, and I don't know, maybe just a little bit of vulnerability there.
Yeah, I mean, Hugos generally, from what I've observed, I think the thing that separates him from the others in this game very well is just the fact that he's so confident on the throttle generally, and able to put the power down so early. Because, like, in a nutshell, if you press the throttle for the longest, then you're going to be fast. So, if he makes a mistake doing that, maybe it could crack his confidence for the other runs, or maybe he's just like saying, okay, this is my first lap, I might as well like just I have some I have more shots than this, so it's not a
I'm
problem.
a
if I
little
push.
concerned about Hugo's here. I wonder if he's having wheel issues or something like that, because he is going very slowly around the outside of the track right now. And
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on.
I didn't either. It would be a problem. He has lost his winning streak yesterday in rapid races. He's only finished second. Um,
Oh no, unacceptable.
imperfection is unacceptable. Yeah, he's definitely got some issues.
Yeah, he does. So hardware issues, I would assume. He's trying to test things out as we see the first laps come in. 30.2 from each of the Red Bulls, and Bant's putting in a good lap as well. I did see Bant's on time trial before the race, so
Nah.
Bant's with the rare practice.
When before the race I was playing I was playing how's the game called? I don't even know. Among Us with him like 20 minutes before the race, so I don't know if he did
Was
that
he-
much.
Was Hugo's trying to give copy slipstream there and messed it up? Is that what happened? I wonder.
Let's see.
Was he waiting all of that time to give copy slipstream and he ended up getting out of the way in the long right-hander? It's possible. Seems to be alright now though.
Yeah. So anyways, what I was getting to for the strategy. Oh, as well puts in a 29.5, and that's a really good
Wow.
time. I expect pole to be a low 29. Maybe we can get the off 28 in, but that's going to... Well, it has to be a banger lap to be this quick. Jensen rejoins the session, so we've got 2 AlphaTauris now. And 2 of them, of course, last week told us that they hope that the season can really start for them in round 4 after they've had their fair share of issues in the first 3 rounds. So yeah, in Tier 2, the medium hard runners absolutely stormed through the field, but then again, like I don't really know if it is because of the strategy, because the people who were doing it are also very quick drivers, so it could just be that they are that quick and they would have done it with every strategy, or medium hard is really something to look out for. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's I think it probably is something to look out for. You can push on the both the soft hard and the medium hard strategies, whereas soft medium you do have to conserve, so it'll be interesting to see what we get from the guys at the front of the grid, whether they think the soft is the better option. Certainly we've got a bunch of guys qualifying on soft, so that would you'd think in that case that people were content to go with the soft.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a
Also yesterday,
surprise from further down the grid. Sorry.
Also yesterday I raced in rapid races as well, of course, and only one of the really fast guys, Mizzle, went on mediums in qualifying intentionally, and he started like from P12 and he ended up P4, and in the 2 races before, in the 2 races before that, he was the guy finishing in second behind Hugos all the time, so I would assume pace-wise he might have been able to get higher than 4th. So maybe the strategy didn't play out and he miscalculated that, which would indicate that medium hard isn't the way to go.
Yeah, very possibly. It is. I mean, it is a major disadvantage to start outside of the top 10. You lose all sorts of track position. You put yourself in potential harm's way. So yeah, we'll see. We've got 11 minutes left in this session. We got Gary again. Really good pace from Gary this week, showing very good pace last week as well. Certainly competing right at the front, and this week as well. So who knows with Gary? Certainly dominating the Battle of Ireland as we like to point out from time to time. Something else about that, by the way, Mr. Ocean Chief. Yeah, he said it's his last Tier 1 race, of course, until he does the big Hugos and suddenly finds a second a lap from somewhere and gets himself back in here on merit. So we'll wait for that, but for now, at least, it's his last Tier 1 race.
Yeah, I've spoken to him about it, and it is quite sad to see him go. It was always a little bit of fun. I mean, over the 5 years, it's just always been a given. 5 years, what am I talking about? 5 seasons. That Ocean Chief was always going to be there, and I mean, there's all the memes, Captain Slow, Slotion Chief, and everything. So all sorts of very high quality puns. Also coming from himself, so like it was always obvious Ocean was not gonna get like high point scoring finishes just on pace, but it was always interesting because you knew if a race was completely chaotic, you always had that little element of surprise, and when Ocean Chief would suddenly like grab a good position, and I mean, I really enjoyed that. So it's kind of sad to see him go, but he's going to tier 3 as far as I'm aware. And
yep, I think so. I think yeah, he'll be certainly competitive there, and we'll see if he can get one last P10 here in Shanghai. It'll be a tall order because this is a high quality field, but you never know.
Yep.
All right, who's on a lap then? We got Hugo on a lap, just about to finish his lap, and he is going to get a slipstream here from his teammate as well down the back straight, who is going to pull to the inside. He's going to have DRS, of course, so here goes down the back straight. Basically a perfect slipstream for Hugo there. That was expertly done by Copy.
Just about. Nails are breaking quickly, short shifts up into third. You don't want to accelerate on lower gears. And for the final corner, make sure to not cut on the outside. It's really easy to do and validates your lap, and it is P2 for now.
Yep.
He'll have more time than that, but I think he just wanted to get a banker in.
Yeah, probably. He'll get one more go.
Yeah, by the way, to everyone watching, if there's any issue with like the stream, audio quality, anything, like please let us know, because last week audio balance was kind of off, and it's better we fix it now than it not being fixed and the stream being hard to watch. So just put
Yeah,
that in
absolutely.
Chat. Do you have chat open? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi to I do have chat open. Yeah. Hi to everyone in chat. We got Michael making a prediction that Jensen will crash, which is a brave prediction. He doesn't crash that often, doesn't Jensen? Certainly last week with the
Gary!
Oh, wow. Good lap from Gary. 29.3. So he is legitimately very fast here today. It's his second lap in the 29s. Icewind putting it on 29.7. I'm pretty sure that would have been pole by some distance in tier 4, which is where Icewind thinks he should be. But he is instead P4 in tier 1. And Speedy in chat as well says we need to play some GeoGuessr at some point. Yeah, we do.
That's true, yeah.
We could try and maybe do that after the stream. I don't know. Join us in 2RSRL chat if you wanna come along.
One very good detail, completely unrelated to that. We finally got our driver numbers back. I like that as a commentator because I really disliked having just generic driver numbers on the car.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's fixed. Bance is number 25 again. For example. Oh, Copy puts it on pole.
Oh, good lap from Copy.
Yeah, I mean, he must have also gotten slipstream there because he was just
he did.
in pit entry.
Yeah, he did. So the two Williams boys coordinating that really well. And there'll be plenty of time for them to do it again in the final run.
6 minutes left on the clock, so that gives Copy the required 90 seconds roughly to get into the pits and then get out again with Yugos to coordinate that. Is everything fine? 3 runs.
So we've got Danny, who has invalidated his second lap and is going into the pits, and he's going to have one more go, but the pressure's on a little bit here for Danny because he's certainly not going to be wanting to start right from the back.
Yeah, to quote him from yesterday, when he was talking to me, he said that he wishes he would finally stop bottling it in quali, because then at least like he has something to point to before he inevitably bottles it in the race. So yeah, good luck to Danny for that. Let's hope.
And Speedy mentioning that I'm a little bit loud compared to you, so maybe if you can just go into Discord and put me down to like 80% or something.
Does the game sound fine?
I assume so. Let us know if not.
Give me feedback. I changed the volume.
Okay. So we'll see now if that's any better. Let us know in chat as per usual. But we have, what do we have here? We have Copy doing a slow cooldown lap into the pits, as you would expect. We got Hugo on an out lap, so maybe they're not going to coordinate this time for the slipstream. Maybe they are. Maybe they're just going to wait. Maybe Copy's just going to wait until Hugo comes around. Oh yeah, that does make sense actually. Yeah, because Hugo's going to start his fast lap and Copy's going to come out of the pits just before. So
Yep.
Yeah, that is the way to do it. Let's have a look down the order. We got Astro Boys P6, Triton P7 with a good lap, 30.1.
He was
Light
struggling
Cruiser
yesterday,
Brawley.
but he looks on pace right now.
Yeah, certainly does. Good to see Triton back up there. Jensen is at the moment back end of the top 10. In fact, he's the very back of the top 10. Vance doing his Sebastian Vettel cosplay in P11 in the Ferrari. So.
Oh, why you gotta do him like that? He's on a roasting streak.
I'm sorry.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. And Julian down in P15 only, so he has clearly got some time to find, but failed to do so far. He's up by 0.02 of a second there, as he goes into this really long right-hander behind Iceman. He looks to the inside. I thought he was thinking about getting slipstream for a second. Gonna open the others for this very long straight, which produces awesome DRS trains, and that's what we're gonna see in the race. But for now, let's see what Julian can present to us, because he surely doesn't want to start in P15. He wants to get into the top 10.
Or at least a little bit further up outside of the top 10. He's going to cross the line now. It's going to be a 1 minute 30.5, so he goes P14.
Imagine being slower than me in F1, Julian. I will talk to you about this.
Oh dear, and he
oh,
yeets
that's
the
a
wall
perfect parking though.
on the entry to turn 1. It was very
That
good.
is
Yeah, he's on the
beautiful.
road. Yeah, it's
Good
nice
job.
and considerate for the marshals to
Yeah.
move that out of the way.
I give him a 9.4 for that. That's beautiful. Let's see, who else do we have out of position? Bryce Evolution hasn't really gone fast yet. Flashriv, I think, making his debut in Tier 1 as a reserve. Light Cruiser's in P8. Light Cruiser, of course, having to fight for a championship on Monday, so he probably shifted his focus a bit away from F1 for that. That, of course, is a very shady plug for the ACC season finale on Monday in Suzuka, where he leads the championship by 3 points.
Hugo is nearly 4/10 up on his lap, so we could be seeing a pole position lap here from Hugo. He got a great slipstream there from his teammate. He's coming out of the hairpin now into the final corner. He is some way up, runs a little bit wider. Validation, Hugo. That was a 28.8, but not a valid 28.8. So Hugo with the large, I want to say the large bottle there in the last corner.
Do you want
There's
to
not
say
really
the
another
line,
way to
Tara?
describe
Do
it.
you want to say the line?
He did definitely not clutch, I'm
Thank
afraid,
you.
Hugo, this time. He's,
Thank you.
he has not put it on pole position.
Hugo did not clutch.
He's going to give his teammates some slipstream as well here. Copy a 10th down. He's got Bance just in front of him as well. Hopefully Bance manages to get out of the way. He does. We keep our eye on the leaderboard here because we got Wow coming towards the end of his lap. We got Bance, who's not on a fast lap at the moment. I think Bance's qualifying is over in that case, but a good effort from him, P6 with the 29.9.
Actually, Jensen's out of position. Really, I mean, yeah, 30.3. I'm sure he can go faster. Jensen's really quick.
Yeah.
Especially
And
China.
Gary put it. We missed Gary putting it on
what?
pole
Oh, wow.
with a 29.2. Wow also puts it P1 on a 29.1. Copy is a 10th and a bit down on his lap, so he's not looking like he's going to improve. Did get a slipstream, but he got one last lap as well. Astro Boy is just over a 10th up in the first sector. We're going to keep our eye on Copy, but I don't think he's improving unless something... he lost something last time in the last corner. He didn't.
Oh, Jensen, I think it's at a purple second sector. I mean, I know that he's quick at... we know he's quick at China. But
Yeah, he's 4/10 up on his last lap, so he has got some improvement
Brawley.
coming here. Brawley with a very good lap, 29.5, puts it on the second row of the grid at the moment, but Jensen down the back straight And I just wonder if he's going to be able to improve. Astro is also on a fast lap. We'll keep our eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce finishes in P14, just in P13. Jensen's got 1 corner to go, and he was up 4 tenths by the last time. He's definitely gonna get into the top 10, and he gets himself into P5. So he's gonna start with Brawley up there. The Dutch...
Astro Boys has invalidated. Sorry.
Oh, no.
In the last corner, he was barely improving. And I think he did improve by 3,000ths of a second, but of course it was
actually,
invalid.
Danny. What's going on with Danny? Because he's
Was Danny?
last.
Is he on a lap?
Yeah,
he is on a lap.
And
So-
he's going to be the last one to set one, except Ocean Chief. And it's 1 corner to go, no time so far, so maybe would have held back on that last lap. Don't do what Yugos did, he didn't do what Yugos did.
So close.
And he's gonna put it in P7, just behind Yugos. So
Yep.
that's a decent end to it, and Ocean Chief on his last Tier 1 quali goes into the pit lane. So P17 start for him ahead of NJJ, Flash River and Bascadinho.
Yep, so that is your grid, folks. No one deciding that the medium tyre was what they were going to try and qualify on. Everyone going for the soft, so I imagine that it will be the top 10 starting on softs, everyone else starting on probably mediums, maybe with 1 or 2 deciding to gamble on the hard for the first stint.
I believe it is because of the DRS train. So on the first stint, you're of course a little bit slower, and then like you're probably gonna hold your quali position, which is going to be worse if you're on mediums. And then in the second stint, first you get undercut, and then you have the advantage of fresh hards against slightly worn hards. And that advantage is there, it's like 3 or 4 tenths or something, but it's not quick enough to actually slice through the field and make up for the positions you lose in quali. So I believe that's probably why no one went medium hard. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, I think that's probably right. It is a very competitive field in Tier 1, and in fact you needed to do a 29 to even be in the top 10 in Tier 1. Wow, on pole with a 29.1, excellent lap from him. Excellent laps also from Gary and Copy in second and third. Then the 2 Dutchmen, Brawley and Jensen, 4 and 5. Hugos, who did not clutch, in P6. And then Danny, Icewind Bants, and Astro Boys rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a very interesting race already, because of course we have WoW, who has had an atrocious start to the season, I'm sure he would agree. And well, for his standards. And he told us, of course, that he wants to kickstart his campaign now for the championship, and he's put it on pole, and Yugos, the one to beat as of now, has of course dropped the ball a little bit in qualifying, only down in P6 on a track where it isn't too easy to overtake when your phone rings. Also, amazing. I'm sorry. This is...
Oh no, Timo has to answer the phone.
I don't. But
Unlucky Timo.
I don't need to answer the phone. I just need to, deny the call. Okay, so what I was gonna say, that Yugos will find some troubles catching up to WoW, because there's cars between them, and then of course we've got Copy, who's played, I think, well, not second fiddle, but he's always been a good bit off Yugos ahead of him. So I don't know how they are going to interact. And Gary's again on the front row. So lots of unknown variables, which make me look forward to this race a lot.
Yep, very much agreed. We have, as predicted, the top 10 on softs. Everyone else on mediums apart from Julian and NJJ, who have gone for the hard tyre. So interesting to see whether Julian can make his way through the field. He was considering bailing out for Indy qualifying. We're glad he didn't, though, because
what an Indy fan. Why? I mean just drive and watch it later, Lamau.
Yeah. Well, I saw Fernando did not manage to do very much in Indy qualifying. Unfortunately, he's not in the shootout. So.
What?
Yeah,
But he's gone.
I'm pretty sure he's outside. Yeah. It's there's no bump day today because there weren't enough entries this year. So yeah, he's racing, but he's not going to be at the front for the start, at least. Not that particularly matters.
Another thing you will love to hear is that apparently, according to the patch notes, take them with a grain of salt, the bug where there is practically no deltas for the first lap is gone, I think.
Ooh, okay, well that's
believe
pretty
they
good.
fixed it. I have not
Well, they
seen
fix
it.
it. Yeah, they seem to be fixing these bugs one by one. They've dealt with the tire like the number of laps the tire's been on bug. I know, so that's good. We've not seen that for a few races. So yeah, F1 2020 is getting there, as we suspected it would.
Yeah, it's just a little. I mean, it's a little bit of an annoyance that there is going to be one step back for like the first, I don't know, 2 months of its lifetime, and then we are all to back to the good old usual bugs. You guys told me in Tier 2 for the first time that since the start of the game there was a bug. If you activated your overtake in the formation lap, you couldn't turn it off during the entire race. So I didn't know.
That's great.
It is. You'll be really quick on lap 1, and that's about it.
Which Assetto Corsa race was it that you couldn't turn the hybrid down? Was it Interlagos? I have a feeling it was.
No, I just didn't have regen.
Oh, you didn't have regen. Yeah, that's right. So you were fine for 3 laps, and then,
yeah, exactly.
then backwards you went. Yeah.
I did overtake Tipsy, and then you got spun, and I couldn't do anything. Anyway, so the start. Let's see. Have they actually fixed the bugs? The starting lights are vibing, and we go green in Shanghai. And it looks like a good start from Wow, from where I'm sitting. He's still alongside Wow. Gary's sticking it down the inside, though. He's going to go alongside in the snare corner. It looks like he's got the position already. We've got yellows behind it. That's Yugos! Yugos already off the track, and he's lost an end plate there, so...
Yeah, I saw a bit of front wing flying. I didn't exactly see what happened, but I guess that was what happened. Hugo's getting hit and going out wide, so Hugo's job, which was already difficult. Julian off the track as well. He spun on the hards. Didn't see how that happened, but Hugo's job, the championship leader...
Oh, Gary?
Got a lot harder.
Gary,
I guess he overtook under yellows, but he leads from Wow. We're going to assume, I would assume that penalty is probably not a real penalty, but he's going to have to serve it, of course, in the pits, so it is going to be a real penalty for him, unfortunately.
Exactly. That is unfortunate because he's leading the race and on merit because he's gotten a really good start. I think the initial launch from Wow looked better, but then Gary just drew alongside and took his line into turn 1, which is really advantageous from the inside.
Brawley and Jensen fighting now as they come onto the front straight. Brawley right in the slipstream of his Dutch compatriot.
That was Justin with an absolute slide there in the background. That reminded me of Season 1. I think we had a huge crash there. In the background, as I think NJJ is looking down the inside and is taking Bryce Evolution.
Battle between Bryce Evolution. No, it's NJJ and Bryce Evolution. That's right. So NJJ staying ahead for the time being, or maybe he overtook. I don't know who was ahead originally, but the fastest lap of the race from Gary. He leads.
Yeah.
Brawley. What happened to Brawley?
No, he's. Is the lobby dead?
No, he's still there. There's a bunch of cars ghosted though, so something has happened.
Is ghosted. Everyone between Gary and Brawley is ghosted. It should be Wow in P2, but he's in P6 for me. And then behind him we go with Copy and someone else. I think it's sorting itself again. Ocean Chief leads. I'm gonna take a screenshot. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's happening. Ocean Chief is up front. Looks like we got some battling between Basco and Flesh River at the back. Let's see if we can see what's happened up front. Yeah, it looks like it has sorted itself out, which is good, because we don't want to have to remake the lobby or anything silly like that.
As the DRS for Copy is almost gone. We're on lap 3, and 0.9. I think he's just about dropped it. I think. I don't think he's got it. And Wow got a really good run. And he's almost pulling alongside still before they even enter the straight. He's going to put it in overtake for a short amount of time. And there's no Are we on lap 3? No, we're on lap 2, right?
2, yeah. I think it was the... Yeah, I think it was the bug where it gives some people an extra lap on lap 2. I've seen that before, where it's looked like it was lap 3 before it actually was. But yeah, no DRS this time, and Wow decides to stay behind.
Oh, that's surely a warning for Wow.
We'll have a look. We did the fastest lap of the race, so at least it was a warning, as it turns out. He still apparently gets the fastest lap of the race, even though it was a warning. Sometimes you don't.
A penalty prevents you from getting it, but warning is fine.
Okay.
So you can get 2 warnings and take that fastest lap point like a gentleman. As Triton makes a move on. Oh wait, well he's disconnected.
Yeah, Justin is disconnected. I think he rejoined just now. So hopefully he gets back in the car very soon. But yeah, as you mentioned, Copy. Oh, in fact, he's just joined now. So Copy right on the edge of that DRS with WoW, and that would be a pretty significant break in DRS if Copy were to lose it from WoW in second and third place. Everyone else behind, all the way back to Triton, has DRS on each other.
It would be huge for WoW, because then he'd be able to lead the field in like his own sort of little bubble with Gary, and Gary's got that 5-second penalty, and that would set WoW up for a very, very good race. Unfortunately, he's already got the warning, and I know it's easy to get some here. A Copy, I think, is close enough. Yeah, he is. So, didn't happen.
Yep, certainly is. I've lost timings completely. I don't know if you have as well. Yeah. So gonna have to go by eyesight, I'm afraid.
Let's show fastest laps, because they are the only thing that works.
Vance locking up behind Light Cruiser there. We've seen Vance a couple of times this season outbreak themselves. Exactly. Oh, and there's Vance gets a 3-second penalty, so he's the first real penalty, as it were, even though Gary's going to have to serve his side-by-side up front. WoW down the inside, Gary on the outside. WoW now, of course, has the outside for the left-hander. He's going to try and hang it around there anyway. Gary keeps the position, at least for the time being, but these two battling has brought Copy back into play as well, and the DRS train behind him is still intact.
He almost shoves him around that corner. That was really tight. I think WoW's got the pace on him, so he'll need to find a way past. Luckily he's luckily he's second, so he gets DRS without Gary getting DRS, which shall be an advantage. Are the gaps back? Yes, they are. So that's good. The train reaches down to P11, and then it rips apart at Triton, who's lost Pretorius because he's on mediums.
Yep, so, well, Pretorius and Triton both on mediums, but I guess there was some battling happening there, and there's a little bit of a gap behind Triton as well to NJJ. Meanwhile, though, up front, WoW looking very racy all of a sudden. He does have the overtake button held down, at least for the time being, and yeah, he's going to get Gary here, I think, with the DRS. Gary goes defensive, but WoW just pulling to the left-hand side, and that will be...
Oh, NJJ's dropping, and he's off, and he's out!
Oh, so NJJ has retired, so what are we going to see here? It's unfortunate for him. We didn't see what happened, but he is certainly out of the race on the outside of the right-hander. I guess he looped it there.
Yeah, he must have gotten wide, and then like tried to catch the car, counters it, and just gone in the wrong direction. I've seen a Renault do that
Vance and Astro into absolutely. Vance and Astro into turn 1. Astro trying the cutback, but nothing doing there. So these two carry on as they were. Hugo's as it's just something happened to Justin. What happened to Justin? He's off the track without a front wing in turn 1.
And he's safety car.
And he's retired as well. We have a safety car.
That's unfortunate for the medium runners, because you can go to the end from here. I personally have experimented, and I hit the tire cliff, like the 75%, the puncture range on 22 or 23 laps on hards. So if you throw in some safety car laps in that, then you can make it to the end from here easily. So everyone is probably going to go for hards.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a 21 lap stint. So yeah, I would think the hards are the tyre to be on in that situation.
Yeah. And this, of course, throws Julian completely out of the rhythm, because he's already a medium, so he can't get more mediums and hards. He can't get another set of them. So
yeah, that's true. So I wonder if he's going to stay out, Julian, and maybe hope for something else a little bit later on in the race.
A second safety car would bring him back. Jensen is also... Jensen and Vance and Pretorius are all a little bit in trouble, because they are fairly close to their teammates, and they are behind them, so if both of them are going to pit, there's going to be a loss for them.
Hang on, this is great news for Gary, isn't it? Because he's going to be able to do his pit.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to do his pit under safety car, which means I think that it's not going to be served.
There's a huge crash. What's going on? And a pit entry, chaos. That's a lot of penalties, actually. Let's check the race director, because there was That was madness going into the pit lane. I saw like 4 penalties popping up. Yeah, 4, exactly 4. It's Iceman collided with Danny, Light Cruiser with Bans, and Bans and Danny both were Light Cruiser. So
Was somebody trying to overtake in the pit lane? Is that
don't.
somebody trying to do? I don't know. That's certainly something that we could see, but yeah, I just wonder if people were trying to race in the pit lane, and that was why that happened. But in any case. Yeah, copy on mediums, and Julian is gonna pit for the mediums as well. So yeah, I wonder if several people putting the mediums on, Light Cruiser and Basco as well, both McLarens putting the mediums on. So I wonder if they think they can get to the end, or if they're just gambling. I would think though that unless you think you can get to the end, it makes no sense to put the mediums on. But we have to wait and see what people are thinking.
I've talked to you guys about strategy before the races, and he's told me that if I want to go soft mediums, then I should do pitting in... Yeah, then I should do a pit stop in lap 8. And, I mean, the end of the safety car is likely going to be lap 7 or lap 8. And that would mean they could go to the end, safety car laps, adding like 1% each. But it's still tough, like, I don't know if it's worth it. We'll see though. Maybe it pays off. Copy will probably be able to get ahead of WoW.
Yep, I think so. I mean, certainly at the end of the race, if there aren't any more safety cars, then the hards you would think would be quite a bit faster than the mediums in that situation.
Yeah. Also, as
maybe
you
the
said,
advantage is enough. Sorry, go on.
Also, as you said, Gary. I mean, it's still unfortunate that he got an unjustified penalty for the yellow flag incident.
Well, he hasn't served it though. He still hasn't served it,
hasn't?
and if he's not pitting, no, you don't serve it under safety car.
Oh.
It's only
So
under
he
green
goes
flag
to
conditions
the
that you can
end.
serve it.
He goes to the end.
So
from
yeah,
here
he
and
goes to the
gets it
end.
taken off. So okay,
And then it can be removed, yeah, and then it can be removed.
Yeah.
So assuming that it's that it is an unjustified penalty,
Oh
but
yeah, I
it
mean,
usually
definitely.
is.
He was.
Yeah.
He cleared him by turn 1, and the incident with you guys happened a lot later. So that was definitely not right.
Yeah, worth mentioning that I'm pretty sure the medium runners or people that have moved on to mediums, with the exception of Copy, obviously, but was Light Cruiser was in the top 10. Yeah, he was. But
Yeah.
I think Basco he started on mediums, right? I think he did. So I think he's going to have to pit again for sure if that is the case. Let me just double check that. Yep, he started on mediums. So that is indeed the case. Light Cruiser started on mediums as well. So
Wow, that's interesting.
so both McLarens going to have to pit for a second time.
Pretorius and Triton both saw that safety car as a chance to shake the strategy up a little bit, so they've decided to stay out in their tires. They're gonna take the lead from now, and they're also going to be a little bit of an annoyance for Copy, who of course is on fresh medium, so he wants to get past WoW, but in the DRS train of Pretorius and Triton, it's going to be tougher for Copy to just get past WoW. So this might just save WoW into the stage of the race where the hards are going to outperform the medium tires, and Copy might have played the gamble wrong here.
Yeah, I wonder which tires are faster between the fresh hards and the 6-lap-old mediums. I imagine it's close between those two tires. So WoW certainly not going to have it too easy to pass the guys up front. They'll have to pit again, of course, because they haven't pitted yet, to put a different set of tires on. They can't make it to the end on mediums anyway from here. So we'll see. Safety car is in this lap. So we're getting ready to go green again. We see people aggressively warming their tires. I'm just going to keep an eye down the field in case some funny business happens, but it looks like everyone's pretty well behaved at the moment. And Pretorius bolts.
And he gets a little bit wide, but that's basically a flawless safety car restart as the safety car heads into the pit lane, and Pretorius just takes the lead. 7/10 already on Triton, because Triton didn't manage to hook in as well. And now in the 3 laps before we get more DRS, wow, maybe has a chance to get past Triton. Maybe already on the acceleration here? No, okay. I've seen plenty of overtakes out of this corner, because it catches people off. They don't expect you to use your battery here and then lunge it into turn 4. I
Worth
wouldn't have
mentioning
put
as
it
well,
past him.
we haven't talked about Hugo's, and that safety car was very good news
Oh.
for him. He's put hearts on. He's going to the end of the
Oh,
race.
Triton!
Wow, really attacking.
Yeah, Triton got in the grass there and he had to yield, but it was too dangerous for WoW to just go for that. Triton could have snapped. And yeah,
It's all over the back of that Red Bull. And yeah, 1.3 is already the gap up front, so despite being on the same tyres, Triton unable to live with the pace of Pretorius up front, and he, I imagine, is about to get swamped by those on considerably fresher tyres. Copy not being too aggressive, which might be because he is looking after those medium tyres, or trying to, but here comes WoW now, down the back straight with the slipstream, with the overtake button as well, and Copy is going to have a look and try and make it 3 wide there. Had a good look up the inside of WoW.
WoW goes really deep, but maybe with the acceleration of the mediums, Copy could make it 2 for 1. He's on the outside, and if WoW yields too much on the inside, he could just have the run there, and he does! A brilliant move from Copy that brings him up into net P1 for this race, but I don't know if WoW is going to be happy with that. He might just use his DRS to go around the outside in the snail corner of turn 1, but it looks like the move is done.
Oh, Triton spins in the back! Triton spins on those medium tyres! Just lost it, I think, by himself. I don't know if he got a hit from behind, but it didn't look like it. And Triton around, and that, well, I mean, it doesn't end his race. There's certainly the possibility of another safety car, but that certainly compromises him a lot.
Yeah, so also Yugos has made it past Flash River and Bascadinho, and also Julian. So he's up into P13 now, as his hunt up the order continues. It's going to be tough. I don't think he's going to be able to challenge Copy and WoW, but damage limitation is definitely going fairly decently.
Yep, Copy trying to
we've lost
make his
Julian.
way to the back of... Oh! What happened to Julian? Let's have a look. He's on the outside. We've got a VSC. Yeah, he seems to have turned left in a right-hand corner.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he
a true
threw it off the road.
Moment.
Yeah, it is. So Julian out of the race, unfortunately for him. And we have a VSC, so the gap up front is going to stay at, well, it's 2.4 at the moment. I don't know if it should actually be 2.4, or if Copy is going to close up as they come towards the point where the virtual safety car will end. And we are racing again by the looks of things. Pretorius pitting. Oh, and he tried to pit just as the safety car was going to end, and unfortunately it didn't quite work out for him, because just as he came into the pit lane, the safety car ended, and that is a free pit stop basically for everyone else on Pretorius. So Copy now leads on the medium tyres, and WoW's job is going to be to stay for as long as he possibly can in the DRS of Copy, despite a tyre disadvantage, as Jensen and Light Cruiser battling as they head up towards turn number 4. Light Cruiser getting that move done on the medium tyres, so Jensen moving down a place to P8, but everyone's still in a DRS train as far down as Bryce Evolution in P11.
Yeah, and WoW, as you said, will have the challenge for the DRS now, and the plan for him for the rest of the race will basically be, I think he's just about out. He really needs to pop his overtake button now and use some of that charge, but I don't think he's got it. Yeah,
no, it doesn't look like it to me. Copy was leaning on that overtake button all the way down to that tight left-hander, and it looks like it's done the trick. So Copy has made a break, and I think even now he's using a little bit more battery than WoW is. So Copy getting himself a gap, and if he can keep that gap, he's in a really, really good position for the rest of the race.
Yeah, at some point his tires are going to fall off the cliff more than the hards of WoW, but it would have been important for WoW to stay within him, so he's ready for that. Also, another important factor for WoW, which he has just lost, is the fact that he can't use the DRS from Copy's car to protect himself from the racing point up his rear of Gary. So
yeah, absolutely right. Just keeping an eye on Light Cruiser as well, who was attacking Icewind there out of the hairpin, but not able to do anything. Light Cruiser on the mediums, everyone else in front of him except for Copy, of course, on the hards. So it's a question for Copy if he can keep this gap, and it looks like he can. It's a question for Copy of whether he can look after the tyres enough to drag them kicking and screaming to the end of the race as Icewind locks a brake into turn 4.
Oh, almost loses it on traction. I wonder if Iceman Light Cruiser is gonna be greedy here. Don't think he is.
Nope, doesn't look like it. Light Cruiser sticking behind at the moment, very close to the back of that Alfa Romeo. So easy in a situation like that to be caught out by the car in front. Oh, 3 seconds for Danny, so the first of the front runners to get a penalty, with apologies to Bant, who's kind of a front runner in this race. He has been, but the back end of the top 10 at the moment, and he's lost DRS on Astro Boys in front. But Light Cruiser now in a very good position to attack. The gap up front 1.5, so Wow able to not quite hold the gap, but certainly he's not too far away from Copy in front, and he'll know, and so will Gary, as Hugos makes a move for P11.
Hugos passed.
But Wow will know
that
the important thing is to keep Copy within arm's reach and not let him get too big a gap while he's got the tyre advantage, as we have a yellow in sector 3. That's a spun Flesh River, who's making his debut in Tier 1, unfortunately, and that is, well, not unfortunately that he's making his debut, but unfortunately that he is spun.
Yep.
So he's right at the back now, P17.
Yeah, it's not going too well for the Renault squad. They've lost one car, and the other one is also gone into the wall and is now going to pray for a certain Mercedes car to come onto the track and lead the field for some laps so he can catch back up.
Yep, absolutely. Bernd Mailander, he will be hoping will be called into action again. Gap up front now 1.7, so Copy is gradually getting away. Is he doing it though while looking after the tyres? That is the question, as Wow out of that left-hander was an armful of opposite lot there.
Brawley and Astro both trying to keep the DRS train alive, but I think they've both failed to do so, because Brawley's now 1.3 behind Gary, who has basically, I mean, he's free to attack Wow now. It's going to be a game of DRS economy, I imagine.
Yeah, Brawley does not have DRS, and now he's going to be overtaken, I think, by Danny. At least he's going to try to, is Danny, as he goes down the outside into the hairpin, side by side. Brawley just, he did leave Danny space on the outside there, still side by side as they head up towards the left-hander at the end of the lap, and Danny just about getting that move done. So he's up to P4. Yep,
Jensen's,
it was.
Jensen is just about a second behind Light Cruiser, and Astro Boy is just about a second behind Jensen, so that's where the train slowly scatters and loses the connection.
Yep, so we got a few little trains right now. We've got Wow and Gary second and third, that's a train. We got fourth all the way down to 8th, that's another train. And then further back, it's a little bit more spaced out with Astro Boys, Bants, and Hugos, who is certainly still a factor in this race with the amount of pace that he has in that Williams. He's on hard tyres just like everyone else up front, so he's certainly not out of this despite that first corner incident.
Oh, almost drops it on throttle there. It's just a really tough corner to get right, but Jensen is back into the DRS of Light Cruiser, and Danny pulls along so many cars right now.
And Astro Boys was right on the edge there of Jensen too. Oh, Triton has spun, unfortunately, out of turn 2, so Triton's race was looking really good in qualifying. Certainly a good performance from him in qualifying, but in the race it's just not quite panned out for him, as Brawley and Danny, again, very close into the hairpin. Brawley just about managing to get it stopped.
He's probably a full-time.
I believe so. I'm not absolutely sure. 3 seconds for Icewind.
I didn't think so, but he's raced like the last 3 races, so. And I wouldn't know who else is in the Red Bull next to Triton. Huh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, because he's been doing well consistently, so he's getting that Red Bull team somewhat up the order.
Yep, certainly is. He's driven pretty well. We got a train behind Danny, and Speedy mentioning that Danny's brake might be spiking just a little bit. I've seen it once or twice as well in the time since Speedy has pointed it out, but seems to be okay at the moment.
What do we mean by spiking?
Just like coming on by like a couple of percent or whatever
On the straight.
when he's not pressing it. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Logitech moment. Oh, Jensen.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 seconds for Jensen. So that's Icewind, Danny, and Jensen all with 3 seconds now. So that could well be meaningful come the end of the race.
Oh, Icewind gets really, really sideways. That's going to have compromised his run greatly. And maybe it's finally the chance for Ruben to go past. This is roughly what I was talking about with the mediums aren't big enough of an advantage to actually make passes here. So
Brawley
it is a risky
again.
strategy.
Very nearly running into the back there. I didn't see if he did run into the back of Danny, but certainly those two were very close to each other. Oh, we got yellows ahead. What's the yellow?
That's Triton who's retired.
We lost. Oh, Triton who's retired. Okay, that's a relief. I thought we'd lost one of the leaders just for a second there.
Yugos is, we should mention Yugos more often. He's after all the championship leader, and he is currently in P11 and rapidly closing in on Vance.
Light Cruiser very sideways out of turn 3 there. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, Yugos closing the gap to Vance now. Vance has Astro Boys just about ahead of him, and if it all plays the way Yugos wants it, he's going to close in on him before the next DRS straight and maybe get the move done before Vance catches the back of Astro, because then it would be a problem. But the way I see it right now is he is going to catch up to the end of the train up ahead. I think P8 is, or P9 is where he's headed right now, but then with the DRS train he might be in a little bit of trouble and gains a position through penalties, but in the championship this isn't good for him.
Yep, it's certainly not. Just looking for this battle for 4th and 5th here. We got Brawley, who has a lot more DRS than Danny does in front of him. Danny's almost completely out. Brawley has most of his battery remaining. But yeah, I think you're right about Hugo, and Vance actually has DRS here on Astro as well as he heads into the hairpin.
That has changed. Vittoria's making a move on the Chief, and Light Cruiser gets a penalty. So at least Yugos has got that going for him, that he doesn't have a penalty, and that I don't expect him to get one.
Yeah, I think it's everyone other than Brawley in that little group now that has 3 seconds. Haven't seen any others, but yeah, certainly that is something that Hugo can look for, although the gap between Jensen and Astro is almost 3 seconds by itself now. So just waiting to see from what point those mediums begin to fall off compared to the hards. I would expect it to be within a few laps, probably around sort of lap 20, 21. It's a slightly elongated second stint because of that safety car earlier on. So certainly at some point the hards will have an advantage over the mediums. But at the moment, Copy has managed to pull out a 3-second gap at the front, and we've got 13 laps to go, and I think that gap is still going up between Copy and WoW, so it'll be interesting to see. Jensen right on the back of Light Cruiser now. I wonder if Light Cruiser's struggling with his tyres just a little bit.
Gary's actually gone for the move on WoW. I didn't see that one coming, and I don't think WoW did either, because I think he saved the battery, but now he's going to look towards the outside for the last turn. Move is done though, so WoW, in a moment of unawareness, gets caught off guard and is now down to P3.
Yep, so WoW will be following for a little bit. Doesn't particularly matter whether you're in front or behind in that sort of situation, but certainly Gary showing that his pace is real as Hugo goes down the inside of Vance. Vance did not have DRS into turn 1. Hugo takes P10. He's back in the points.
Yeah, the next one is Astro Boys. And then there's a little bit more of a gap, and he will inevitably end up at the end of the train, and which he would be, well, P5 in total, just for the fact that he doesn't have a penalty.
Yep, I think that's absolutely right. Hugo's going to get that move done, I'm sure, on Astro Boys at some point fairly soon. Astro Boys without DRS, but up front, again, gap 3.1, so it is extending just very slightly between Copy and the Gary WoW battle for 2nd and 3rd, and then another 3.5 seconds all the way back to Danny in 4th, who heads that little train of 5 cars. So things are a little bit compressed here in China. This race has rattled along. We're more than halfway through it. Jensen close to the back of Light Cruiser, but probably not close enough to think about a move into the hairpin. He's going to have to wait at least a little while. Hugo likewise not close enough to the back of Astro Boys to make that move, although he might do here. Icewind with another penalty, so that's 6 seconds for Icewind. Hugo not close enough though. Brawley right on the back of Danny as they head into turn 1, as you may expect there with Danny not having DRS.
And Ocean Chief has made a move on Basco. Oh, never mind, Basco's pitted. That's sad. I would have hoped for the Chief to make the moves on his last race.
Yep, he decides, Basco decides to cut his losses and pit for the soft tyres, so the gamble not paying off for him. And something we didn't mention as well, we haven't mentioned for a while at least, is that Light Cruiser will have to do the same. So Light Cruiser will have to pit before the end of the race, so he's not going to be able to go to the end on those mediums, even if he could. The same not true of Copy, and I'm sure it's Copy's intention to go to the end of the race on the medium tyres. Triton, by the way, saying that he didn't lose it on his own, he got rear-ended. I did see someone was close behind, but I didn't see that you got rear-ended, so certainly that's really unfortunate.
Oh wait, Brawley's gone for the move.
And Danny,
and
yeah.
Jensen as well, so suddenly both of them make their moves, and Light Cruiser might be able to fight back though, while Danny has slotted in behind already, and now Light Cruiser does the same, so good moves from those two. Oh, Danny's not! Oh my god, he's dead!
Oh,
he is
Danny,
so dead.
Just a little bit too ambitious on the throttle, and around he goes, and surely, I mean, it doesn't look like his front wing is too badly damaged, but surely he got damaged from that. He hit the wall very hard.
What just happened? I am confused.
So
I don't know what happened.
Light Cruiser pits for soft. I mean, he lost it on traction. I don't know if he was on the curb. He might have been on the curb on the outside of the last corner. But yeah, spun around on traction. So Danny with a big mistake there that's going to cost him a lot of points. Maybe he did get away with it in terms of damage, but I mean, the real damage is that he lost so much time.
Vance is actually on for his first points in a long while, I think. I'm not trying to jinx him, of course. If he doesn't get or if something happens to him, then you can blame me. But I think, I mean, he might just lose the position to Danico. Otherwise, he seems to be on good course today, so a solid form from him. Normally he's just always like, it looked like he's approached these races as like an in and out. Goes in, does his quali lap, drives 3 laps of the race, and then he, I don't know, plays something else. But today he definitely shows that he has got some solid pace, and that solid pace has kept him in the top 10 of this Tier 1 grid, so kudos to him.
Yep, absolutely. Good to see Bance back up towards the front of the grid as he runs a little bit wide there in the last corner, but I think he might have got away with that one. The penalty situation up front is that none of the top 4 have a penalty, so this will be an interesting last 9 laps or so, and I think the gap now between Copy and Gary is starting to level out. So Gary's starting to peg that gap, and he's going to bring Copy back in, I would imagine, over the course of the last 8 laps or so of this race, because the hards will be slightly better than the mediums at that point.
WoW has had more ERS than Gary for a significant amount of time now, and I feel like he has now got enough of looking at that BWT sponsorship on the rear wing of the Racing Point car, so I expect him to try and make a move very soon, but it's going to cost both of them time, and that's exactly what Copy wants while he's trying to save his tires up front. Oh yeah, I mean, Gary's basically out of ERS, look at it, it's 12%, and I don't think WoW uses anything, so...
Yeah, doing the smart thing, just staying behind with the DRS instead. And I mean, it is important that they go as fast as they can, these two, Gary and Wow. Taking it in turns up front is certainly the fastest way to do that. Brawley gets himself 3 seconds, so he's the latest. And certainly Hugo's lurking, and Hugo with no penalties yet, and the 3 cars in front of him do all have penalties. So if he can get within 3 seconds, he's on for a P4 at the very least here today.
Good recovery drive, for sure.
Yep, certainly is.
2 seconds behind Jensen now. How many warnings does Wow have? Because he's generally, I mean, we've seen one of them, and he's generally a little bit more vulnerable to getting them than other drivers, I would say. I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
I was going to say he only has one more, but he only has one rather, but he's now on 2 because
Okay.
he got one on the last lap.
Oh,
So Wow needs to keep it clean for the rest of this race. I'm just going to check everyone else up front. Last I checked, Copy did not have any, as you would expect from Copy. He still doesn't have any, and Gary has, well, maybe one, but it's a lap 1 warning, so it might be for contact instead of for anything else.
I personally don't find it too hard to like not get penalties. It's one of those tracks where I think if you're trying to pay attention to it, you're reasonably not going to get more than.
Oh, Jensen on Icewind. Yeah. So Icewind, yeah, let him have that one. I think did Icewind. He's well, they both have almost identical ERS, but certainly Jensen with a little bit more pace maybe at this point in the race. Icewind will need to look after those tyres from now to the end.
Oh
As
dear.
Hugo does the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, speaking of more pace, Gary on Copy. It's he slows them by 5/10, I believe, in the last, I'd say, 2 laps. So he's definitely building that pace up, and the different, like the tire delta is just gonna get bigger and bigger. And
Yep. I think so. I think Copy with the mediums. It was certainly brave for him to go on the mediums, but I just wonder if at the end of the race, it's so important that you're fast at the end of the race on tracks where you're DRS locked, because all that really matters in that situation is your pace on the last 2 laps or so while you're jockeying for position. And certainly Copy is being reeled in now by Gary. There'll be 6 laps to go at the end of this one. Gary is reeling that Williams in.
Wow needs to be careful though, because if they're both actually gonna catch Copy, then he needs to make sure that he's leading the charge. You don't want to be third in the fight for P1, because you can't make an overtake. You can only make an overtake if one of the 2 ahead of you makes a mistake. So he'll need to take the initiative before that and get ahead of him if he actually wants to win this race.
Yep, absolutely right. Hugo on the back now of Jensen and Icewind. He's making his way through the field very nicely indeed.
Yeah, he is currently on the way of producing an educational piece on what happens when you're third in the train. Though I think he's got the pace to actually get away with that. He might be able to pick them off one by one. And
3 more seconds for Bance is very meaningful.
yeah.
So he's on 6 now, I think. Hugo, well, the game says he has 2 warnings, but again, one of them was on the first lap, and we know he made contact on the first lap because he lost a piece of his front wing, so I would be willing to bet that that is not a track limit warning, and that he actually only has 1.
Yeah, I think so too. And generally, I mean, you can get one in the double left-hander we're getting to now on the exit. Then in the last corner, that left-hander and in the hairpin, I think are like the common spots. And I think as soon as you notice I can't get another one, unless you actually make a mistake and go off track, I think it's fairly doable to not get them.
Yeah, absolutely right. Just a question of how much you're willing to test the limits.
Yugos is so much on the edge. I just thought he was gonna spin just because of the trajectory of his car looked so bad, but instead of spinning he's going to do quite the opposite, which is get a blistering run, almost swallowing Icewind up before they even reach the DRS. And he's got that move done nicely and is now in P6. Jensen is just going to be the next one on the chopping block for the Williams driver. And he's definitely showing that he's not just got the pace when he's up in front and running away with it. He's also got it when he needs to fight his way up the order.
Yep, absolutely right. Lap time check on the leaders. Copy's last lap was a 1:34.4. Gary's last lap 1:34.3. Gary picked up a warning on that lap as well. So the gap still, still stabilizing. 2.5, 2.4 or thereabouts, which has been for a couple of laps. Sorry, that was Gary's first warning. So Gary on the 1 now. So he's still got a little bit of leeway at least between where he is now and getting himself a penalty.
Also, I don't think Wow is doing enough. I mean, he's had roughly like 60%, I think, and Gary's had like 25% of ERS, and over the last laps, like every time I check back in, it's just gone down by 10% while Gary holds himself, and the gap just stays the same. So I feel like Gary's pace is actually just too good for Wow here, and he will need to settle for P3, which is still very good, and also good given the context of his first 3 races, but he will have wanted more. It's not over yet, of course.
Yeah, it's certainly not. A Copy, I think, made a mistake there in the second half of that last lap, because suddenly the gap went down to 1.9. It's now 2 again. So yeah, Wow does a 34.4. I think the people in front of him will have done a similar lap time. Copy maybe with a 34.9 or thereabouts. You can see, just looking at Copy's inputs here, they're so gentle. He's having to be very, very careful on the throttle to keep those tyre temps under control and keep the wear rate under control. I just wonder if he's going to make the end of this race. There are 4 laps to go.
Oh my god, he's walking on eggshells.
Yep, he really is. He went deep into that right-hander, but certainly it's such a balancing act that he's got between trying to go fast and trying to look after the tyres, because dragging the mediums 21 laps in Shanghai is a very 22 in fact is a very difficult thing to do. Astro gets himself another 3-second penalty, and the gap up front closes to 1.4. So Gary now not a million miles away from the DRS of the Williams in front of him. And you have to think that if he gets there, he'll be fine.
Wow has noticed that they're getting really close, and he knows that he needs to make the move soon because he's down to 30% on the battery now. Gary's sitting on 20.
Bants on Astro, as they bang wheels for absolutely no reason down the straight, Bants and Astro, as they head up towards the hairpin, and Bants getting that move done.
Yeah, nicely done. He's still very much alive in this race.
Oh, side by side, Gary and Wow into turn 1, and Wow forcing his way through. A little bit of contact. Gary's still on the inside, though. If these two fight, that could be the opportunity that Copy needs. And Wow trying to make a move, but Gary having absolutely none of it as they head up towards turn 4.
The overtake button, and now it's going to come down to the brakes. Can he swing it around the outside before they head into this quick S section? The overtake button comes live again, but I'm sure Gary will try to defend, but maybe he's out of ERS now as well. Resumes. Oh, they are still side by side. The next one's going to be a right-hander, so that one goes to Gary, and Wow is still there. This is an amazing fight, but it's not doing both of them well. If it is about the fight for the lead of the race, it cost them roughly 6 or 7 tenths, but it was a brilliant fight, and that must have, I mean, their pulses must be absolutely skyrocketing right now, because that was so close, and it was really respectful, and it looked amazing, so
yeah, it really did. There were a couple of occasions where one or the other went deep into the corner, but it was good stuff between the two of them. But yeah, that has let Copy get a little bit of breathing space. 3 more seconds for Jensen is a big deal. He's about to get overtaken by Hugo as well down the back straight, but Wow and Copy now fully in battle mode with each other. They know there are 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Copy is just a little bit up the road. He's trying so hard to look after those tyres. But Wow and Gary in hot pursuit. We got 2 laps to go. This is quite a finish.
Yeah, and in that move, I just checked the batteries again, and now it looks like Gary's got the upper hand by 15%. And if you just saw how Oh, wow, took that last corner. He's absolutely going ham on those track limits. And he does not care. He knows he needs to push now. It's do or die for him. He basically needs to be in the DRS of Copy by the end of this lap, because otherwise he's not going to be close enough on the last lap to actually make it stick. 1.1 seconds through the S section. Mechanical grip and downforce both important. Which means that he is going to have a significant advantage over him, and I expect him to close the gap as he gets a little bit slidey here. 1.0, 1.1, it's a balancing act. Has Copy done enough? Oh, this is so close.
I think WoW has it. The gap 1.0, he's trying so hard. The detection point is right here, that line on the road that goes across, and he does have DRS this time by the looks of it. So into the last lap they will go, and WoW now will have the advantage in terms of DRS. He's one warning away from a penalty, and Gary behind him pushing pretty hard as well, but certainly WoW in the box seat for this race, I would say, at this point.
The issue just is that Copy is on 30% and Gary on... Oh, what, Bance? I've jinxed him. He's gone, and he's gone again, and he's going into the wall. I have jinxed him, and it's my fault. Oh, no.
Oh, Bance.
Oh, no. Why was that obvious?
A tragic way for this race to end for Bance. He was looking for points, but he's not going to get any. But up front, someone looking for more than just points is WoW, who is on those medium tires. On those hard tires. Copy's mediums have still yet to blow, so I just wonder if Copy now is in full attack mode, or if he knows that there are potentially issues with his tires. Wow, and Copy locks a brake there into the tight right-hander. This is going to be such a close finish.
He's taken a really defensive line. Copy has just shown that he wants to defend the inside. There are no lunges from WoW allowed, and look at the line Copy is driving. He's not comfortable right now, and you can tell it because there's an AlphaTauri up his rear, and I think WoW is in a perfect position now. He's got 20% less on the batteries. He almost breaks himself into the rear of Copy, and I might just give Copy the gap. Now they need to put the power down early as they fight for the last time towards the hairpin, and Copy goes on to overtake.
With 30% battery, Copy can just lean on that button for the whole time. WoW is completely out of ERS. It's going to be so close as they head up towards the hairpin. Gary looking as well, but Gary's not close enough. It's going to have to be a late lunge from WoW. He doesn't have the battery to do it.
Oh, Gary!
And Copy, it's been a hell of a drive from Copy. It's been an absolute clinic in terms of tyre saving, and he is going to win the Chinese race at Shanghai by less than 0.2 of a second, as I almost fall off my chair. But I managed not to, as Hugo's with brilliant recovery drive in P4. I am absolutely out of breath after that one. That was a great finish between Copy, WoW and Gary. All three of them can be very proud of that, and Copy with just a brilliant drive on the mediums.
Yeah, the strategy really paid off so well, and if there's one guy who's able to pull a strategy off that requires you to be quick and safe on your tires, then Copy is the man. So yeah, just stellar job for me.
Yep, so another very good points haul from Williams. It was looking like AlphaTauri might be able to get themselves back into the Constructors title race, but they've lost points to Williams here with a second place and a sixth place finish compared to Copy and Hugo, who both finished in the top four. So I don't know, that was quite a race. Brilliant, good races as well further down for good points for Jensen, and Brawley as well finishing in front of him, which he'll be very pleased about. Icewind P7 is a really good result for Icewind, just holding off Astro Boys at the end there. And Danny, after that spin, and he didn't get damage from that spin, which is a miracle, he finishes P9, gets himself 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved that race. That was really good. There was so much going on. The fight for the lead was exciting until the last corner, and it turns out what made the difference were 20% of battery. That's what decided that race. Well, was out of he was out of arms basically. Like he couldn't do anything on that last lap, and Copy just perfectly managed that one. probably held himself back in like earlier parts of the track because he knew that Wow wasn't gonna slip past and just saved what he needed to save, and it brought him the victory in a very well-deserved one, as he wins again in China.
Yep, absolutely right. So that is your final standings. A bunch of penalties for those a little bit further down in the top 10, but certainly a good race from everyone. We didn't mention it as well. Pretorius finishing P10, get himself the final points. So good stuff from him. And the people who gambled on, I guess, a second safety car by putting the medium tyres on. It didn't work out for Flesh River, unfortunately, and Light Cruiser as well, having to pit once again. Ooh, who are we going to give driver of the day to?
I think this is between the two Williams. I just don't know who.
Yeah, I mean, I think the I mean, Copy's drive was outstanding, and I think he probably does deserve it. Hugo, just with that mistake in qualifying, how costly was that mistake in qualifying for Hugo? Just on the last corner.
It's impossible to tell because, well, had he not qualified in P6, he likely wouldn't have been caught up in an incident in turn 1. So it just like butterfly affected its way through the race. I think Copy did a brilliant job. I just also threw Yugason because he only finished 5 seconds off the lead, and that is very, very good considering he was facing the wrong way, standing off track after turn 1, and it's gone from there and has done a really good job. But I think, yeah, Copy is Copy is definitely a fair choice for driver of the day, I would say.
Yeah, I think I would give it to Copy. I think he certainly has stood out today. Honourable mention as well for Brawley, finishing P5. That was a really good result for him in the Red Bull. But yeah, I think Copy does get it for me. Now then, how are we doing in terms of time, Mr. Timo Brown?
I have completely miscalculated, which means I get one train later. So I have,
okay.
Well, it's like 10, 15 minutes, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, because we got some people to speak to. One of them was involved in the lead battle today, and very, very nearly won it at the end there. Wow, that must have been an exciting finish for you.
Yeah, quite the finish, I have to say. I think the best so far this season, which yeah, kind of says that the season hasn't been pretty well for me. But no, the last 3 laps were pretty intense. I had a very, very good fight with Gary. I think second to last lap, or lap 36. But
yeah, you were side by side for ages.
Yeah, like entire sector 2 or something. Yeah, it was amazing because I tried to overtake him because I wanted to be right behind Copy because I knew his tires were going off. But yeah, the last lap where I tried to overtake Copy, I had, I think, 20% of ERS left, and I think he had more. So he got the better ERS management, and so the deserved win. But I'm pretty pleased with my second place.
Yeah, I mean, just to put that that drive from Copy in context, he took the mediums 22 laps, and Gary mentioning that even his hards at the end of the race were in puncture territory. How were your tires at the end of the race? You were on the hards as well. Were yours in puncture territory, or did you manage them a bit better?
I didn't check them once this race.
Okay.
I assume they were like in the 70-ish%, like high, low 70s or high 60s, so not in puncture territory yet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Copy saying that his were at 75 at the end of the race. I mean, we saw him for a couple of laps just before you guys caught him. He was being very, very gentle with those tires. It's incredible that he managed to go so fast and managed to do that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, good drive. I mean, did you think sort of 5 laps from the end when you guys were reeling Copy in that you'd get him? Were you thinking that the race for the win was between you two, between you and Gary?
Kind of, yeah. I really much thought that it was a 3-way fight. I counted in Copy as well. So I think like from lap 21 onwards, I was kind of pushing a little bit more to get by Gary. And yeah, I knew it was crucial to get by him. So yeah, really glad it worked out in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, oh, sorry, Timo. I guess Timo was not talking to us.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So he was gonna sort his business out in the background. Yeah. Okay.
Some German as well. Nice.
Yeah. So so we got Zandvoort next week. So how are you feeling about that new track?
I knew this question was gonna come. Yeah, well, I drove this track when the game came out, like a month ago. And my time trial time is is like nearly half a second off Hugo, so I got some work to do. But yeah, I don't know. I'm expecting me to be in top 5 again. I don't know if I'm gonna can be on contention for the win. I think that's gonna be between Hugo and probably Copy. But top 5 would be very good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure you'll get faster than that between then. I mean, half a second off Hugo, given how fast Hugo isn't all that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great performance anyway. Well done today. I'm gonna drag you back into the other channel, and I think what we're gonna do, rather than bring these guys in one by one, we're gonna bring all of you in at the same time, because we figure that you can manage to sort yourselves out. Timo's got to go in a few minutes.
Okay.
So we'll chat to you guys quickly. You're all proud members. Well, Timo's actually the odd one out here. He's the only one who's not in his 30s. So sorry, Ocean, that's not true.
I completely missed that. Sorry.
Who's under 30?
Oh, it's another joke about my age. Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
Was it planned?
No, it actually wasn't planned. I just I said Timo is the only one in here who's not in his 30s, and then I realized that that's not quite true. But it's close to being true anyway. So. But I guess, I mean, Jensen is a good place to start, I guess. A good race from you. You got passed by Hugo at the end there, but you were in contention for pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, but as soon as the safety car came out, I knew I was screwed with the double stacking, because that's the luck I get this season, probably. But I tried every trick in the book. I was driving a few seconds below my delta, backing everyone up. So I knew they couldn't overtake me because they would get a penalty. So I was creating a few seconds for myself to not fall back to P14. Instead, it became P9, which also wasn't really happy about, because I was stuck in the slower DRS train and couldn't really do anything there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a bit of frustrating is a big word. At least I had a setup this time and could actually drive. So yeah, it wasn't optimal. I didn't really practice. Maybe maybe it's still on me, but I only did 1 hour or something. So that I was actually P5 in quali was good. And I knew with the DRS train, I know I would be able to stay with the guys in front. But yeah, then the safety car came out, unfortunately. And yeah, Brawley ghosted through me in the pit lane when I tried to slow everyone down. I think there were a few cars who got overtaken in the pit. So I already told Ocean that one is on me. some controversy here, but
we did wonder what had happened, whether somebody had tried to do a Sebastian Vettel and overtake in the pit lane.
Well, Brawley did on me, but yeah, I'm not going to report, because I was actually the one trying to do everything in his power to not get held up too much in the pit.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So I mean, still good points for you today. It was
at least
drive.
some points. Yeah, at least some points. And yeah, shame that WoW couldn't finish the job, but we were there. Yeah, we were there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And not too far behind you, certainly on track, not too far behind you, was Mr. Icewind. I think you would pretty comfortably have won tier 4 with that performance, Icewind.
I don't know about that. Pretty mediocre quali lap. Then I didn't really have that much pace in the race. I got hit going into the pit lane, because that's apparently fair thing to do to me now, and I got
Oh dear.
for that. Then I got another 3-second penalty for dodging another car, and I got 4 warnings in one corner because of that. But in the end, even if I would get those 8 seconds removed, it doesn't really matter because it wouldn't change the result. So
Well,
who cares?
I think
So,
that.
so inside, I just want to say as his teammate, what he's really saying there is we got our first points for Alpha, and he's very happy about it. P7,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, and imagine what's going to happen tomorrow. I
Pace is
mean,
still really very bad. So I
we've
honestly
seen how
don't
much better
really
you
know.
are. We've seen how much better you are on Sundays than you are on Saturdays. So given that you've gotten some points here today, tomorrow you're going to be pulling away from Hugo at the front.
Well, let's say I have my doubts about that. So.
I mean,
Nice
that,
try, nice
I
try.
mean, that was easy today after the start. I forgot to say that Hugo hit at me at the start because I was trying to go on the outside, and I think he wanted to dive in, quite aggressively as well to make up a position at the start. But I think he understeered into my side pot and spun out. But
Was it the Australia replay?
yeah, maybe something like that. But this time I left more than enough room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we saw him lose some of that front wing, but yeah, I mean, like I don't feel you can be too disappointed with that, Icewind. You stayed with the lead group for a long time.
20 seconds off. I don't think that's very good, but
But we got held up in the slower DRS track.
yeah, but I couldn't even. I mean, I couldn't even follow you guys with the DRS, so I think that says everything.
Yeah, in the end you hit a cliff maybe, but you were there for most part of the race, so try to see it positive. You weren't you weren't slow. Let's put it like that.
And Mr. Ocean Chief, who we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, that was your last Tier 1 race. I said that was your last Tier 1 race until the inevitable happens and you do a Hugo and you find a second and a half a lap. You're back in here competing at the front. How are you feeling after that? You didn't quite get your P10, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I had just to go over my race. I had like the light side bug because I was hosting, so I had that to contend with. But generally, my starts are really poor anyway, so it kind of negated itself. So I just had a normal start. But yeah, the race was tough. I mean, you've got all these killers all around you, and you've got the up and comers as well, and even guys who were struggling, like were pretty, still had pretty decent pace. Qualifying, I did terribly. I mean, like I don't know what it is. I mean, I used to talked about it. Like in practice sessions, I could do low, like mid 30s, which is somewhat decent. It would have got me a bit further up the field. But when it comes to the actual league race, I don't know what it is. If it's just like a pressure thing or whatever. So I kind of bottled that. I was on a medium hard strategy anyway, and then the safety car came out early, so I just went on the hards. I knew I could take those to the end, and really I was just doing my usual, being a bottom feeder, picking off from other people's incidents. Like I saw Triton one off. Hugo at the very start, yeah, he had an issue, but before I could blink, he was right on my tail, and I was like, there you go. I'll just open the door. You can go past. Light Cruiser was on softs at one point towards the final end of the race, the final laps. Yeah, he just caught me rapidly. And then I don't know what he was doing. Maybe it's because it was my last Tier 1 race as a full-time driver, but he was kind of letting me by again and not really fighting me too hard. I was P12 in the end, and I think, yeah, that was all right. And I think, like, I do feel bad, like, I'm going to be moving down, but someone has to be a backmarker, so there's going to be another Ocean Chief type driver, maybe in the future. Now, I'm not saying Flesh River is my level, but he has just dropped the assists, and I think he's going to struggle initially. But I think he's one to watch out for in the future. He's very, very, very fast guy.
Well, it was a good effort from him today. He had that spin and reckons he could have got points if not for that. So for a first Tier 1 race and having just dropped assist, that is a really good effort, I think.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, there's a lot of I just say to everybody who has, who's maybe struggling a wee bit, is just take the positives. Ice, are you listening? Take the positives from the race. Forget the negatives. You know what I mean? Just take the positive, build on those, and work on your weaknesses. but yeah, I'm going to be heading to Tier 3. I will be back here as reserve. I probably will race as much as I did before, so there probably won't be any real difference. But yeah, the Tier 1 guys are just like, whenever I saw the top 10 in quali and it was all 29s, I was like, yep, I made the right decision.
No, there's some fast boys in this league. It's good to see. But yeah, it's sad to see you go from tier 1 certainly, and yeah, I mean we'll have you in future races, for sure as a reserve. So yeah, that's certainly not goodbye. It's more sort of see you in a couple of weeks probably,
Yeah,
which is really good.
the I don't know if it's been announced or what officially, but basically I'm going to be moving to Tier 3, and Flesh River is going to be moving from Tier 3. So we're essentially a seat swap between the tiers. He's going to take up my seat in Alpha and be Ice's teammate, and I'm going to be teammates with Mossy Gaming in Tier 3. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
expect
we
some
look forward to
shenanigans.
seeing that on is it Thursday nights or Wednesday nights tier 3? I forget.
That's a good question. I should know that. I don't know.
One of the nights
Thursday.
midweek in any
Yes.
case. So
Yeah. Just watch all of them to
Thursday,
be sure.
Yeah,
Thursday
oh
is
yeah.
tier 3.
Thursday
Everything
is
is
tier 3.
tier 3. Come find out yourself.
All right, Timo, you gotta go, so I'm gonna
yeah.
throw to you for the outro.
Wow.
Final thought, etc.
Final thoughts. Well, it was a good race, and it certainly won't be the last good race in Tier 1, because next week we've got Zandvoort coming up for the first time, which will be interesting. I mean, Hanoi showed us some interesting racing. We've never seen that track before, and now Zandvoort is going to be also something new, and I'm looking forward to that a lot. And then I want to put yeah, you just say that because you're Dutch. To be fair, I love the track as well, but in F1, in ACC, I don't like it. Speaking of ACC, the plug I wanted to do again, season finale is on Monday. It's going to be broadcasted by Triton and Game of Clones, and it's going to be championship fight between Light Cruiser and Born Wolf, who isn't known on SLR, I think. So that's going to be quite the showdown, 3 points apart, and I would encourage you to watch that. And if ACC is not your thing, of course, we've got 2 SRL tomorrow, and then just the entire week of racing next week in Zandvoort. So make sure to check that. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.